School has changed. We have books about the past, like Mabel Riley, but they reflect us and they reflect the future. We've moved. We've altered what we thought we were. So we now redefine literacy, and it's a big redefinition. In your lifetimes in this room, you're going to see literacy redefined so severely that we want to make sure we survive, because it's changing rapidly. This is what today is to me. This is the representational icon I use for today's kids. And when I was a young teacher, I never taught a story about basketball or wrote a poem with them about basketball. We wrote about what I liked, which usually was a calendar picture of autumn. Sir, it's May. I know, but we're doing autumn. The May one was no good. How many remember writing about the... Isn't it? And we put it on lovely Bristol board. Remember those days? Well, today it's basketball. And my kid was so into basketball in grade 11, he was late for school 61 times. So the principal kindly phoned me. And I said, only 61? Isn't that excellent? Because I'm always trying to be upbeat. And because at noon they all played basketball and nobody heard the bell. So I said to Jay, could not one of you stand near the bell and could take turns? Could you hear it vibrate maybe? But no, it didn't help. Basketball was their life. And when you have a passion and a drive and a life, pretty powerful. I had my picture taken last year with Chris Bosh. You know Chris Bosh, the basketball player. He's a bit taller. And I'm a bit shorter. And the title of the picture, it's as big as that wall. The title of the picture is Seriously Cool. I'm the cool one. And when I worked with Chris Bosh, the Raptors, of course, do a great deal with boys and literacy, giving them free books, free basketball books in the big auditorium with all the players. So I'm into the new world now, and I'm very excited about it. When I look at the new books for kids and the new texts for kids, the contemporary power of them is thrilling. It's skateboarding, it's danger, it's hurricanes, it's tornadoes, it's powerful. And I have a story that I don't tell very often, but I was in Texas working with some teachers and principals and publishers, and they had books at the back displayed. And when the men came in to clean up after, the men were all, by the way, Spanish speaking. And everybody has gone, but I was tidying up my computer and things, and I watched, they were all gathered around the back. So I went back to see what it was. They were all gathered around the graphic books. And one guy said to me, are these for school? I said, yeah. He says, if they'd been in school when I was there, I'd still be there. So don't underestimate the power of today. We welcome today. We're proud of today. We're proud of our kids today. We're proud of who they are, what they believe, and what they want. We have enough books on the teaching of reading. Mary sells them. We don't need many more, Mary. Oh, maybe one more that I write, but that's about it. We actually do know how to do it. So the new books about literacy are about implementing it, as you've heard today. They're about how do we do it now. We pretty well figured it out. So I'm excited that we have so much information, but time says, what are you going to do with these kids for this next century? The kids you're teaching now, in 30 years, will be 40, let's say. What do you want them to be able to do? I'll tell you one thing. It will be wireless, and it will be on screen. That's what they're going to do. How are we who believe in books, then, going to transfer that belief in literacy to all kinds of text forms, and not just those that we love? We have these new literacies. Not only do we teach literacy, we teach the new literacies. I love this cartoon here. I taught with him. I think it was Cunningham School in Hamilton. Bill Gates tells us something very wonderful. He says that the only skill you need for technology is literacy. So you know what that means? We're back. Just as we thought we'd be replaced by the computer, We've never been more necessary, because the only really powerful strategy our kids need is the ability to understand text and text forms. So we're back, guys. And what's exciting about that is the kids know they need us. Now in grade 12, you know in Ontario you can't get your high school diploma till you pass the grade 10 literacy test. And about a quarter to a third of our kids don't the first try, and then another 20% don't get it the second try. So they take a course in grade 11 and 12. Anybody teach that course? I work with those teachers a lot. They're amazing people. They work with the people we didn't make it with. And they have great success. And those kids have as much difficulty on screen as in print. Literacy doesn't matter the text form. Oh, the motivation does. But the literacy itself doesn't matter. Can we understand word and image relating together in powerful ways? That was a shock when I found that out. But I have a little project in Florida with grade 9 non-reading students. They're called, labeled. We know that's not true. They're non-readers of school texts. And we have to define that very carefully. No one I teach is allowed to say I'm a non-reader or I don't like reading. I always say you don't like reading what? You're a non-reader of what? Don't just use that. That term needs a completion. It doesn't exist on its own. So these kids are in grade 9. They're 15, 16, all of them ethnic backgrounds in Florida. And I interviewed each one. But here's the exciting part. Two things I want to tell you. They were making huge progress with graphic text because the text is so interesting. And the one they liked the best, martial arts. So I say to the girls, 18 girls I interviewed, what, martial arts? Is that a boy book? Boy book, we love it. Sorry. And here's what they loved the most. Every one of the 36 kids from 2 classes made me stand and took me to the wall where they had done the collage of the last book. They finished this book, 48-page book, and they'd all done a collage of the issues from the book. And every one of those kids took me over to show me his piece or her piece of the collage they had done. These non-readers knew how to represent, they knew how it mattered, and they were proud of it. Their teacher, I love her. She's black, she's 48, her husband's a preacher, and when they go down the school bus every single day, they hug her one by one. We can't hug in our country. I love the fact that the future of reading is written on the face, because that's really what literacy will be. It's who you are, what you choose, what you need, what you want. We are the future of literacy. So my attempt is to change the definition so no one's omitted. Because if you believe in differentiated learning, we have to believe in everyone, and that's including men. You women simply have to believe in boys. And they're not going to read what you want them to read forever. We have power while they're in school. But in the future, I flew from Newfoundland to and from Newfoundland. I did my usual survey of who's reading what on the airplane. I do it every time. I've done it for 38 years. And what men read on airplanes is limited. Because in our society called school, they leave thinking books are over. In fact, I had a student teaching it long ago say, in June, yay, never have to read a book again. And he's right, and he's real, and he's honest. The minute you tell us these are better than this, you're wrong. Lots of movies are far better than lots of books. Lots of books stink. Book is not a holy object. There's only 2 or 3 of them. The rest are simply books. And I'm very tired of men feeling so much less because they don't read what so many women read. I don't want your husbands and your boyfriends and your lovers, should you have one, to feel... Sorry, I didn't mean to be insulting. This whole table looked at me in horror. Oh, sorry, Catholic board, sorry. Secret lovers. I don't want them to feel less because they don't read what you do. And I'm moving on.